All right, let's do a recap of the different tables and graphs that you've learned this year in school. First one is a frequency table. This is an example of one. Use the example like it is rolling one single die, and each whatever number it landed on, that's what you were tracking. So every time it landed on the number one, for example, you gave it a tally. That means it landed on one 4 times. Frequency is the amount of times the event occurred. That means it lands on two, it landed 9 times. It landed on three, 6 times. The tallies in the middle is just simply as you're rolling it, you're marking it like how many times the event had happened. So this is frequency tables. Dot plot. This is a way to display what you got on a frequency table. So the main thing is you have a title up top. This tells you what you're looking at. This is the number of pets. Now, the bottom, the x-axis, that is the number of pets. That's 0 pets, 1 pets, 2 pets, 3 pets, and then 4 pets. So you can assume that each little dot, like this dot right here, is, let's say it's a classroom that got surveyed, and each dot is a student. So this dot means that student has 0 pets. This dot, that student has 0 pets. This dot, that student has, you go to the bottom, 1 pet, and then so on. So the column they're in, whatever number above, that's the one that how many pets they have. The thing you have to be careful is this: each dot represents a student. So if I asked you how many total students are in this classroom, well, you would simply just count the dots. But if I ask you how many total pets do these kids own, you would have to add the value of each dot. To give you an example, this dot right here, that student has 4 pets. This dot right here, that student also has 4 pets. That's 8 pets right there. You would have to repeat that process for every single column and add up the total amount of pets if it asks you that kind of question. Okay, next graph. Bar graph is something you've done in elementary. We did touch on it this year briefly, so I'm going to go quickly over it. Again, you have a title up top, birthdays of students by month. Your x-axis, the bottom axis, it has a title as well. In this case, it's month. Your y-axis also has a title, it's the number of students. And the way you look at these is if I was to ask you how many students have their birthday in May. So start at point of origin, go all the way to May. Then we're going to go up to the line and come back across 8. 8 students have their birthday in the month of May. Do one more. How many students have their birthday in the month of August? So go to August, come up, go back across, and it's right here. If you have a line that's not marked, look at the numbers above and below it. We have a 0 and we have a 2. That marking is about halfway. So what number is halfway between 0 and 2? And hopefully you said 1. That means there's 1 student with their birthday in the month of August. Next graph. Stem and leaf. Again, you have a title up top. This is a history class and the test scores the students receive. Stem and leaves will also have what is called the key that's on the bottom here. That tells you that the numbers 6, line 1 equals 61. So this right here, this 6, this 1, that equals 61. Knowing that, you can figure out what all the other numbers are. That means this 6, and let's say the 4 is 64. Let's change the 6, go 8. The 8 and let's say the 1 would be 81. The 9 and the, let's say the 0 would be 90. Now you have 2 of them. That means there is 2 90s. Think about test scores in a classroom. It is possible for a student, 2 students, to both get a 90. Matter of fact, there's 100. You have a 10 and you have a 0. Somebody got 100. Matter of fact, 2 students got 100. We have a student who got a 9 and the 9. That's a 99. I have another student who got a 99. So knowing the key will help you read a stem and leaf plot or stem and leaf graph. Also, make sure you do read the title again to make sure you know what you're looking at. Scatter plots is a new one we taught you this year. I'm going to go again briefly over it. You have a title. This is the time spent on an assignment and the report grade that they got. So the time you spent, the grade you received on an assignment. So that's your title. So the bottom down here, we have the x-axis title. That's hours worked, that meaning how long did you spend on the assignment. And over here on the y-axis, we have the grade, meaning what grade did you receive. The way you read this is, I'm going to go by this first dot right here. So if I go to this student and I want to ask what grade did they get, I would simply go this direction. They got a 60. If I ask you how long did they spend working on that assignment, they spent 1 hour. Okay. Did any other students spend 1 hour on the assignment? As a matter of fact, this student right here did. His line is also on the 1, so he spent 1 hour. And if you go across, that student received a 70. Let's go right here, this line in the middle, because I got a dot in the middle. If I ask you what numbers between 3 and 4, hopefully you say 3.5, 3.5. Okay, so one student spent 3.5 hours on the assignment. So we're going to go up to that student. He's right here. And then we're going to go across and see that they received an 80 on the assignment. Do one last one. One student spent 5 hours on the assignment. If I go to the 5-hour student, he's right here. And if I go across, that student received a 90. Now, reading it is one thing, but there's one more thing you can see. If you notice closely, all these dots are kind of in a line going upward. That's called a correlation or a trend. In this case, if it's going up like this, that is a positive trend or positive correlation, or you could say it's trending up. Here's why that's important, because you may have questions that ask you to do a little analyzing. And what I do is look at the x-axis first, and the numbers are getting bigger as they go to the right. So I say, going to the right, so the more hours you work on the assignment, and I go to the y-axis, and because my trend is going up, I'm going to move my arrow up again. So the more hours you work on the assignment and go to the y is the higher grade you receive. And if you look at the graph, that is true, because it goes up higher the more they spend on the assignment. So with that in mind, if you had a kid who spent 6 hours on the assignment, you could assume, based on this, where the line meets, that they would receive a 100 based on the graph. If you have any questions about any of the graphs, please let us know. Other than that, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.